To order. It's Wednesday, August 31st, 2016. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Coviello.
Present.
Vice Mayor Ross. Here. Commissioner Jonas.
Yep.
Commissioner Watts. Here. And Commissioner Anderson.
Here. Okay, welcome everyone. If you would stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone to this evening's special commission meeting. We have one item on the agenda. Actually, first, any additions, deletions, or withdrawals? Nothing. Okay. We'll do public comment, and then we'll get to the one item, which is the village manager employment agreement. So, any public? Oh, this is just a special commission meeting, and then we'll go to the budget workshop. Yep.
Is the comments on the contract only?
Yeah, this is for we'll have public comment during the budget. So anyone wishing to make any public comments on the employment agreement?
Oh, this is no good for somebody probably 7 months ago.
That's okay.
This is dance and Harry.
You need to turn it on.
10:30, dance and Harry, 10:30 Northeast 21st Street. We're coming up, I usually have my annual putting up my 9/11 collection, so I'm coming in front of the commission to see if I have the permission to do it again this year.
Sure, that would be wonderful then.
Okay, this one celebrates the 15th anniversary.
Mayor, one thing that did come up, Dan informed me that I think last year or maybe this year, the value of your proposal, and talking with John about it, we recommend a hold harmless agreement.
For both sides, just the...
Okay.
Hold on, this agreement, it's not counted from what happened last year.
That is waiting on you, because going forward, so the village doesn't have any more liability on it. Okay?
Okay. Is the commission's comfortable with that? Okay. Tracy, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. Tracy Trubman, 791 Northeast 116th Street. Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to comment a little bit on the contract briefly. And this comes down to just making sure that everything says PTO, which I think I talked with Attorney Hearn about that. Just to make sure we're clear there is no second leave and PTO, just as one or the other. The other issue I have is that I think one of the concerns is that you don't want to be seen giving somebody something before they've earned it. And I think one of the problems of any new employee, normally they wait 6 months before anybody gets anything. I realize that you guys are trying to make accommodations, but I think you need to be careful how many accommodations you do make. So as that, I'll say that I'm not sure I support either one of the counter proposals, but I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Anyone else? Jenny, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, good evening. Johnson Sardella, 771 Northeast 116th Street. My comment is on the contract with the village manager, the changes that she's suggesting. I think that the commission made a sound choice in what they decided at the last meeting with regard to the PTO being accrued. It's my belief, and I think it's many people's belief in this community, that we should be paying someone for what they earned. Also, I think and I heard Tracy just mention it, that there's a discrepancy in the language between PTO and vacation or sick. And I want that to be clarified, because in the termination section, we're talking about vacation and sick time that's been accrued. And if we make the changes that the proposed village manager is suggesting, we lose that definition of the accrued time. So I believe that the commission should stick with the choice that we made. I think it's a sound choice. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. Anyone else?
Bill at 1215th Street. I just want to say I agree with everything that Jimmy said.
Maria, can you just check that microphone and make sure the volume is up in the back?
Somebody turn it off.
Maybe it's the battery. Okay.
Anybody else?
All right, anyone else? Okay, we'll close the public comment period.
I just, we were, on additions, deletions, and withdrawals, I wanted to mention, we received sort of an invitation to commemorate one of our former police chiefs in the recognition.
Yeah.
And I just thought we should talk about that a little bit.
Okay, yeah, no, thank you for reminding me. Maria, you have that information, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so, Mr. Village Attorney, do you want to set the table and
Sure.
outline the two options?
Sure, so you have a memorandum before you that I sent yesterday, and I've had several conversations with the manager candidate, Sharon Magunin, and just to go back where we were, at the first meeting when the contract came up, there was D&E. If you see the memo, there's 4 different versions of this, of D&E, and one is historical, and this one is that there was a 24 days of PTO, and that it would accrue all of those days immediately on October 1st of each year. The E to that was that on or before September 30th of each year, the commission, at its option, may elect to carry over whatever vacation was not used, or to make payment for that vacation to the manager. So at each September 30th, whatever was left over from those 24 days would either carry over at the village commission election, or there would be full payment. At the next meeting concerning the contract, Sharon had asked that the 24 days increase to 30, but gave an indication that she would accept 28. And the commission heard from citizens and from this commission, and I think from a historical point of view, having been here, I know there have been concerns about times when managers have left, and you guys had a discussion about that. The compromise that was reached is you agreed for a total of 28 days, but you wanted it to accrue on a monthly basis, so the accrual would be every month. And to get the 28 days, the math on that would be 2.33 days of PTO. E was then changed too to say that any PTO that is unused and has accrued as of September 30th of each year must be used on or before the end of the year. So 90 days to use any of that vacation that was earned but not used. Subsequent to that meeting, I sent the contract to Sharon. Sharon was not acceptable to that. I had many discussions with her, and she offered the first thing that she offered was to get the accrual to have D be exactly as it originally was, except instead of 24 days, 28 days, so that all accrual would be front-loaded to October 1st of each year. And then E would remain the same, that any unused at the election of the commission could be either carried over at the commission election, or there would be a payment to the manager for any excess. I discussed with her and sought some other alternative based on the clear direction of the commission of preferring not to have full accrual, and asked her if there's any compromises on that could occur. As you see from her year coming up and plan, she has big blocks of vacation, and because of how she travels based on relationships. So her concern was that she wanted to have on October 1st a certain amount. So she suggested that she, although she preferred that first alternative I just provided to you, that she would be willing and would accept that on October 1st, half of it, 14 days, would be accredited immediately, and then to get to the other 14 days, if you do the math, it's 1.67 days monthly. Again, it would be 28 days. She did not want any of the carryover to have to be used within a 3-month period. I requested that there be a time limit on it, so we wouldn't have an unlimited, which was her original request. And she agreed to go that any rollover PTO would be used within the 12-month period. So it gives an additional 12 months for any additional PTO. As far as the issue of PTO, vacation and sick time, we have taken out all references to vacation and sick time, except on these alternates, for example, it says the village manager shall not accrue vacation or sick time. So we've made it very clear, the time that she's getting, other than holidays, is just his personal time off. So those are the two alternatives. I do know that Sharon told me she is coming. I texted her, and she's in traffic, but it said she'll be here close to 6:30. So this is the only issue remaining.
Okay.
So this is, the commission decides what they want to do.
And I know you just went through it in detail, but I just want to hit the high points to make sure I
Sure.
understand it. So, and I'm just going back to what we had decided as a group at the last meeting. So we had decided to compromise and increase it from 24 to 28, okay? And that was to be accrued month to month, the entire 28. And that there was not to be any carryover at the end of the year,
Just for 3 months.
just for 3 months, okay? Okay, and then alternative one is 28 days are accrued October 1 upfront, and at the end of the year, we can elect to either carry over any unused PTO or a payout.
Correct.
And does that, if any PTO is carried over, is there any time limit? In other words, can I keep accruing? There's no time.
Right, there's no time limit, because you have and this was something that was in the original contract proffered by her, by the way. So that moved forward. And so as it is, looking at the language there, if you choose not to buy that allotment back,
It's carried over.
it's carried over indefinitely, there is nothing there.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable with that. So, all right, so alternative two is accrue 14 days up front, October 1, and then the additional 14 days are accrued month to month. So it's essentially half accrued at the beginning, half accrued month to month. It's carried over for 1 year only, and after that 1 year, she either uses it or loses it, and there's no payout.
Correct, it is not used within 24 months, is really what it is.
So she gets 1 additional year to use
One
it,
additional year, but it's not used, it goes away. It's the only opportunity to use it.
and there's no payout.
There's no payout for any of that, that's not
Okay.
correct. So it limits your accrual to a definite amount.
Okay, I'm more inclined to accept alternative, I'm definitely not inclined to accept alternative one, but alternative two, I'd like to talk about further. All right, any comments, questions?
Sure. We kind of,
Did I say something wrong?
well, I think most people talk about all of it, but okay. We kind of switched the game rules for her midstream because initially our offer, with the way it was presented to her, was on October 1st, you get this amount of days deposited in the bank. And so when she asked for 4 more days, when she asked for some additional time instead of 24, we compromised, we gave her 4 more days, but then we sort of wiped the rug out from under her. And we said, no, you're not getting it all into your bank on October 1st. You're going to accrue it over a period of time. Logistically, there are some issues with doing that because you're going to be accruing in that last 2 months and you may not be able to take the time off at that time. You won't have the benefit of it throughout the year. So I think that alternative number 2 is a good compromise where 1/2 of the days, 14, are put into the bank PTO October 1st and the others accrued over time. And I also like the idea of not having to pay out either you lose it or you use it and they expire.
Okay. Commissioner Jonas?
Yeah, I think I'll spare you the long comment and just say I would agree with alternative number 2.
Okay. Commissioner Watts?
Yes, was not in favor from the very beginning of the rollover of getting all of your time in your bank on October 31st or 30th or whatever. But one thing that I wanted to point out, and correct me if I'm wrong, I thought that I did this, that when we moved from sick days versus and vacation to PTO, okay, at the request of the village manager-elect, we forgot that, now, with the old system, you would get your vacation days, and those would accrue, and there would be a payout. But you didn't get your sick days. Now we're not distinguishing between sick days and vacation days. So I would think that we should pull back a little on something, and if she wants this, then we should elect to lower her salary, because she's potentially getting more money in payout, because she's getting all the sick days plus what was vacation days. They're taken along together.
Okay. Commissioner Anderson?
Yeah, seeing the response that I believe that we're going to be getting, I don't think she realizes that even though it's an accrual as far as PTO, she has access for that full year's worth. It's an accrual, but you have access from day one for the whole year. And that's just to go ahead and protect the village. If she decides to leave sometime in the future, near the beginning of the year, we don't pay her for her whole PTO that she would have for that year. It's only what she has accrued. But she has access to the whole year's worth anytime she wants throughout the year.
Understood. So I guess the distinction as to what you just said and alternative 2 is that she's going to accrue 2 weeks ahead of time, right?
I mean, I don't, I'm willing to compromise and say we can give her, half up front and let her accrue the rest throughout the year, but she has access to it all.
So, okay, so alternative 2 is you can live with that.
I can live with it on, on alternative 2. I'm not really comfortable for whatever she carries over. She's got, 12 months to use it. I don't mind compromising again, and instead of 3 months, to compromise out to 6 months.
Okay. Mr. Village Attorney, can you just address the issue that Jenny raised? Was that language cleaned up?
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. We added that village manager not approved the case for sick time, but there was a couple other places that was in it because it originally started as two alternatives actually.
Right.
So yes, that's all been addressed, and there's no reference to it other than that she's not accruing it.
Okay. All right. Any other comments?
And
Discussion?
this is
Yeah.
20 days plus the 11 that she could get,
I'm sorry?
plus the 11 that the employees get.
Plus the
The
11.
holidays.
Oh, holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's everything.
Yeah, well, that doesn't, that's nothing to do with what we're discussing right now.
Yes, Commissioner Jones.
Yeah, I'm going to give you part of the long comment after all. On the surface of it, it's not really clear why we and Sharon are fussing over this. It's a very small matter. And it's sort of hard to tell what this discussion means. And I suspect that what underlies it is some degree of mistrust on both sides. Sharon has applied for this job twice over a stretch of 3 years. She's been willing to take a significant pay cut to get it. And I think at some level she must really be trusting us, otherwise she wouldn't have gotten this far. We hired her because we thought she was better than the other 2 candidates at the end. And my memory of it is that one of the things that we liked about her was her very substantial work ethic, which sometimes it seemed she could barely contain. She tended to overwork herself. So I really think there's not much reason for us not to trust her. And I think at some level she really does trust us. And I think we just shouldn't worry about it. We shouldn't be concerned with giving her some benefit that she'll then walk away from, or that we should be concerned that she'll spend too many days not here and therefore the work won't get done. I don't believe that's going to happen. And I think we should just give her what she wants in terms of alternative number 2.
Okay. Yeah, I think alternative 2 is a good compromise. It doesn't expose the village to a large payout, so I'm satisfied with that. All right, so do we need to vote?
Yes, you do. Absolutely. Motion
Is there a
to.
motion?
Make a motion that we offer the contract with alternative 2.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion by Vice Mayor Ross, a second by Commissioner Jonas. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so what we're doing is exactly the way it's worded in here, for she has 12 months to use it.
Correct. Alternative number 2.
28 days.
Okay. Yeah, I'll go for it.
Okay.
No.
Okay, 4-1. So, assuming that she arrives, we'll sign the contract tonight?
Sure.
Okay.
Barbara,
I'm gonna,
No,
again,
I wouldn't fire
ask,
you.
I'm trying to understand what is the impediment for you if we're starting on a new relationship with a new manager.
Well, don't worry, I won't
Having
have
the force of the entire commission behind you.
I can't change my conscience. I vote according to my conscience, and it has no ill will, and I wrote to Sharon and said that it had nothing to do with her, but I think that the contract is asking too much given the fiscal situation of our village. I have no ill will. I welcome her with open arms. I think I wrote that exactly in the email, but I just don't think it's in the best interest of the village.
Okay. Should we take a 5-minute break before we start the workshop?
Or the item about.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Go ahead.
I don't have the details with me. I know I sent them to Maria.
I don't have them either, but I think you can,
Well, the gist of it is, Temple Menorah is doing a 9/11 honorary presentation, and they want to, they're gonna, one of their keynote speaker is our former chief of police, Gotland. So they asked the city if we would give some kind of appropriate proclamation that they can read at that time. What happened back in 9/11 was Chief Gotland and I believe former Chief Lansberg as well were part of a team that went to New York and helped at the Twin Towers site. So former Chief Gotland is going to be talking about that as a keynote speaker, and I thought it would be nice for commission to go ahead and comply with the request.
I believe it's a few months out, right?
I know what's coming up.
Oh, it is? Oh, it's actually going to be in September.
On September 10th, which is a Saturday right before our regular commission meeting.
Okay. So we can
Consensus
we can
that,
prepare a proclamation.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
I sort of wrote in an email thanking him and suggested that probably the mayor would have contacted him, and maybe one of us should, someone or the village
Someone
should
will
go.
go, yeah, absolutely. We can coordinate that. Okay, anything else?
I'd like to make sure we mention former Chief Lansberg in the proclamation as well.
That's a good idea.
Okay, all right, you want to adjourn this and then we'll reconvene in 5 minutes?